Yes, yes. Welcome to the ancient world of tabletop games. I am Agamemnon, from the historical documentary, Time Bandits. This is a report from a fugitive. The channel is based around board games and role-playing games, with card games and other miscellaneous beasties thrown into the pot. Right? More or less. This channel is also based around that table with its backdrop. But away from the table there are games in far-flung locations. Far-flung if you have to walk there. What happens when I make house calls? Out comes the game doctor's bag. There are professional stabs at official gaming bags out there in the dark, and those stabs aim directly at the wallet. I went looking for a decent piece of kit that could store a large board game and associated bits and pieces, but I didn't go looking for indecent prices. I settled on an airport-style piece of hand luggage based on game box measurements and my ability to crawl across the rainy landscape one step at a time. In other words, I bought a bag that could hold a decent-sized game with ease, one I wouldn't collapse under the weight of. This is a tale of the house call, a story of midweek madness. Gaming was always best done at weekends, when the dead day of Sunday summoned the forces of gaming from all four corners of the land, and a deep pool wherein the awkward squad resided. Periodically, players had a need to see a game through. It wasn't enough to play a game, a role-playing game, on a Sunday morning into afternoon at some broken-down gaming club. We'd continue the action once the club shut its doors for the night, mustering at another venue after refueling with food. And that still wouldn't be enough for the players. They filled scrolls in blood, demanding the assembly of the Fellowship of the Rules, that the Fellowship might journey far into the middle of next week for a spot of Wednesday night midweek madness, just to play more of that adventure. Occasionally role-playing games had to start somewhere, but they wouldn't start in one place. For reasons of the plot, the players created characters who didn't know each other. They all had to be introduced to the story separately, allowing for the development of background, character, and the gathering of clues to the main tale. Thus the house call was born. I'd trudge through falling leaves, relentless wind, and driving rain to deliver a spot of RPG action, one player at a time. This layered approach to story, building up the game before the game, worked very well once players assembled around one table to rule them all, and in the adventure bind them. Gathering for a game meant walking to various houses. Occasionally there'd be need for a bus or a lift from a driver. No one took a train or a helicopter to reach the venue. One car picked up scattered players, or everyone arrived on foot. And so, with wind and rain and flying leaves all playing a part in the atmosphere of just getting to a game, the gaming bag becomes as vital as any rulebook or board game box. This bag became a game bag. The moment I checked the measurements online, it has a handy strap inside to prevent the game box shuggling all over the place. I added bags inside bags to handle those awkward game components that are thrown into every third board game design by law, and that is a board gaming fact. What's essential here? Plenty of compartments for pencils and dice and what have you. Extra storage inside your storage is a must. I added one magical ingredient to my equipment for gaming forays far from this studio table, a rain cape. The game bag is chosen by size, true. Price is a factor, obviously, but the bag must survive a trip on foot in driving rain for the duration of a journey to the furthest player venue. The most remote house call is dampened by soggy rulebooks if any of that pesky weather breaches the bag's interior, and so I added the rain cape to my stock of adventuring gear. In truth, I've often timed my foot-slogging house calls very well, just dodging the deluge. Occasionally, though, the buses are against me, and I've no option but to weather the worst of it. On goes the rain cape, and I trek into the darkness with the spirit of the Batman flitting around my shoulders. That cape laughs at the rain, but the wind mocks me in a billowy fashion. I try not to take off. You may not have these weather-related problems. I make house calls on foot in good Scottish summer weather, which is to say leaf-blown horizontal rain with drops the size of stair rods under a sky you wouldn't find out of place in the depths of Mordor. This protective shield, the rain cape, guards the bag, and the bag offers armour to the game, and all that talk of wind and rain, pesky wind and driving rain, reminded me of the last house call I made to test out a windy expansion for an abstract martial art game called Onitama. Rival schools meet on the field of battle to determine which style is the best, with masters and students taking part in a free-for-all, in abstract chess-like ways. The setup has chess origins, though it's a programmable movement game, and the available moves appear on cards selected at random from a larger deck. This carries the game far from chess. Only 5 cards feature at one time, allowing 2 move options for each player and a 5th card that cycles into play when one player discards the move just made. Your great martial arts style is now headed to your opponent, who may make use of it or keep it unused to stop you from relying on it repeatedly. There are 2 ways to win. March your master into the rival camp's temple archway. Alternatively, capture the rival master. The Way of the Wind expansion adds a weaselly obstacle, the wind spirit, and new cards allowing both players to move that spirit around. In this example, the mountainside is particularly windy today, with every card in play allowing a standard move of master or pupil, followed by the bonus wind spirit movement. No one captures the wind. It serves as an obstacle, preventing a master or pupil from landing on the wind spirit's location. When the wind spirit moves, however, it switches places with any unfortunate pupil the spirit encounters. A master is too learned in the ways of the world to be affected by the bluster. Play continues as in the standard game, with players taking turns to maneuver their martial artists into winning positions. Knock out most of the pupils to corner the rival master, or strike at the master directly. Show a greater level of martial prowess by walking up to the rival temple archway and stroll in as if you own the place, but beware that pesky wind. In making a house call and testing the expansion, I found the wind was no one's friend and everyone's foe. The effect of seeing a pupil blown to the far side of the board by a large gust of wind isn't a pleasant one, though for some strange reason it conjures hilarious images. I've watched all the martial arts movies so that you don't have to. Realizing an easy path to the temple arch is an impossible journey with the invisible wind blocking the route. That's no philosophical journey to inner enlightenment. The Wind Spirit expansion makes an already thinky game that bit thinkier. It's best played with regular movement cards thrown in. An all-wind card game is devilish hard. Though it is possible to play in the other direction, use the Wind Spirit without the bonus wind cards. Any card can move the Wind Spirit if you feel Onitama is played out with the basic set of cards, or even the extra deck in the SENSEI'S Path expansion. Give the Wind Spirit expansion a try. These abstract chess-like games aren't usually my thing, but it's well put together and covers a lot of ground, short rules, rapid setup, portable, and the main game is around £20 plus postage as I speak. Do you like chess? This isn't chess. The playing field is far smaller and forgives no errors. As a criticism, the overall game hand of 5 random cards will sometimes prove virtually unplayable. I lost the game to an opponent who sat at the back of the board and river-danced to victory, forcing me to throw myself on the outstretched blades awaiting my arrival. How we laughed. It helps to have seen all the martial arts films.